Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 759, and today's date is September 5th, 2015, and the title of this episode is The Current Economic Collapse News Brief. Let's get into the economic collapse news. Now, the last couple of weeks, we have been seeing the stock market. It's been fluctuating. It's been pushed up. It's come down, but at this point, we know the market has lost 2,000 plus points. And we know we have the plunge protection team. We know we have the high frequency trading. And they've been put into place, of course, to push the market up if it goes down, to keep everyone happy, to keep the elite, the central bankers, in power so this economy doesn't collapse. But we've been looking through all the economic data. We've been looking through everything and basically ripping it apart and saying, yeah, this economy is already in a collapse mode. And the central bankers are trying to keep this hidden from everyone by keeping the market pushed up. And if we've noticed that as time goes on, it's getting harder and harder to do this. And we're hearing from a lot of people right now, Jim Sinclair, Bill Holter, Peter Schiff, and many others, even Schiller, saying that this economy right now is falling apart. It will not be able to continue. And we're even having a quant from JP Morgan Chase saying, listen, this is not over. Far from it. The market is going to continually drop. And we know what happens in people's minds when this market collapses. They say, oh my God, the economy just collapsed. But we've been following this and the economy has been collapsing. And my whole theme for what is going on here is to be prepared. Now, it's not to scare people. It's not to say, oh, you have to be scared or shivering in a corner saying, oh, I don't want to do anything. The purpose of it is to say, you know something? Let's get some food. Let's get some water. Let's get some supplies. Now, for those people who hunt, who have fresh water, most likely you don't have to worry about this. But there's many people out there who don't have access to this. And the reason why I'm saying this, it's not because, all of a sudden the manufacturers won't be able to produce food, or we're going to run out of, chickens, we're going to run out. No, what's going to happen is the deliveries to the stores. That's where the problem's going to be. As Bill Holter said, the credit lines are going to dry up, which will make it difficult to transport the merchandise to the stores. And that's where the breakdown occurs. I mean, we see it in Argentina. We see it in Venezuela. We see it in Greece. And we're going to see it here. I mean, already, the governor of China's central bank said multiple times this week to his G20 colleagues that a bubble in his country had burst. What they're saying is things are starting to fall apart. And they're coming down rapidly. And we know the central bankers realize this. They know they're doing whatever they possibly can to keep this propped up. And we understand just by John Kerry's words where he said, listen, if we don't make this deal with Iran, the dollar's going to collapse. That's because what they're planning to do is they're planning to take the dollar and use it on their natural resources, which is oil, to prop the system up. And we know they need to get into Syria to create that pipeline going through Syria up into Europe to capture the natural resources and to implement the central bank. Because you have to remember, their plan was to capture the Middle East. The Middle East is falling apart right now. They understand this. And we see at this point in time, Putin understands what's going on here. They already understand that this system's coming down. And this is why China's been purchasing gold. This is why Russia's been purchasing gold. Because we know in the end, the person, the country with the gold will survive. We'll be able to call the shots at that point. And throughout history, we've seen this. And already, we have the Secretary of State, John Kerry. He's expressing concerns over reports of Russia's enhanced military buildup. Now, Putin has seen that the Islamic State, which is the proxy army for the United States, is getting closer and closer to Damascus. Parts of it, they're already in there. They're blocking off the water. And remember, Assad and Putin are allies. They've made economic agreements with each other. So yes, Russia is bringing in the hardware. They're telling the United States and the central bankers, we are here. And if you go after Assad right now, this will be a problem. And this is why he's calling their bluff. This is why he's saying he wants an international community to fight the Islamic State. We should all join together. Now, the United States, they can't say, no, we don't want you to do this. We'll take care of it. Remember, they're in Syria right now illegally. It's against international law. Putin is in there legally from the request from Assad. Big difference here. And he is basically setting up saying, this is going to be war if you make your move. Now, we know the U.S. government central bankers are going to make the move unless Putin somehow, some way calms the situation down. And he's not taking any chances, and this is why he's bringing in the military assets. And at this point, the U.S. is out there saying if Russia goes in there, it will destabilize the entire area. I mean, they're trying to use any excuse possible. So what does this all mean? What it means is we're on the cusp of World War III. We're heading down that path. And we can see that Putin, Russia on one side, and we have the United States and the coalition forces on the other side. The problem is, how is this going to play out? Because one wrong move, that's it. That would be the Big Bang. That would be World War III. And that means Russia's getting involved. Now, we know if Russia gets involved, what is going to happen? China's going to get involved. We already know from the Pentagon, from their report, who the players are, who will be fighting. It is China, Russia, Iran, Syria, North Korea, and they listed some other countries, which will join in later. But we can see at this point, the United States has been provoking, trying to get something started. Now, from everything that we've been hearing and everything that we've been seeing, at this point in time, we are heading down a path that is going to be volatile, not just economically. We're talking about what is happening in the Middle East. I mean, we have this refugee crisis. We have the UN coming in saying we have to do something with them. We have to separate them into the different EU countries. The countries are saying we don't want them. We're hearing that this is the worst refugee crisis since World War II. And this is all driven by the United States government, central bankers, and the coalition forces when they created Al-Qaeda, the Islamic State, and they created all this war throughout the Middle East. And from all of this, this is all being done right now to cover up what is coming. This is not a time to wait for the last minute to do something, where you sit there and say, you know, I really don't believe him, so I'm not going to do anything until the last minute. Let me see if it actually happens. I hate to say it, but at that point, it's too late. You will be stuck. It's almost like when we had Hurricane Sandy come in, and I have family members who live in that area, where they told me, yeah, okay, I see the hurricane coming. I know they say it's going to be bad, but you know what? I'm going to wait and see, because I really don't believe that it's going to hit as bad as they're saying. I know a lot of us do this. A lot of us say that it's not going to be as bad as they're telling us. And we just can't believe it. You can't get it through your head that, yeah, I better prepare. And then when it hit, they were stuck without electricity, heat, they had no food. There was no way to get the food because the supermarkets were closed down, power was out. They didn't open up, really. And this was a scary situation. And at that point in time, they were saying, I should have prepared. I should have been ready. And I don't want anyone to say that, I should have done this, I should have done that. Because what's the worst case scenario? Let's say we go through this fall, this winter, and absolutely nothing happens. Do I think this is going to happen? No, but let's pretend that nothing happens. What do you really have then? You have food, which you can eat. You have water, which you can drink. You have toiletries, which you can use. You have gold and silver. If you don't like it, sell it. You have cash on hand. You still have cash on hand. That doesn't matter. And you have a weapon. You could sell it back if you like. So what is the downside to this? I don't see one. I do not see a downside whatsoever of being prepared and ready. I mean, we're hearing from so many people that you really can't say, this might not happen, it won't happen, because there are so many of us who are looking at this and looking through what the government is saying, because why would you even believe them? Because all they do is lie. I mean, Iraq, weapons of mass destruction. 2008, there is no recession coming. Everything is contained, everything is fine. Right now they're telling us we're in a recovery, unemployment's coming down. Do you really believe this? I mean, think about what they're telling us here. And then they're going to have an event and tell us that, we need to go to war now. So at this point in time, everyone needs to be prepared. I mean, you can go to Sam's Club, you can go to Costco, you can shop on Amazon. It makes no difference. Get the food, get the water. Just stock up a little bit. You can also go to lifereliance.com. Everything's pre-made, ready to go. Food, water, seeds, bug-out bags, first aid, you name it, they have it. The same thing with Amazon. They have everything that you need. Just in case. And it feels at this point that just in case is going to be, yes, you need this. And this is the time to do it. We see everything accelerating right now. We see the central bankers pushing everything. And they won't stop. They will not stop because they realize this collapse is inevitable. It's coming. There's no way around it. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thank you.